everyone, I'm Mind, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the LEGO Ninjago Micro Ninjago City set, as well as comparing it to the full-size version that came out in 2017. This review is going to be a little bit different because this isn't a usual set. It was released as a LEGO Insider Reward, which if you guys don't know what that is, that's the new version of LEGO's VIP program. And essentially, if you make purchases on LEGO.com or at LEGO stores, you build up points over time, and you can use those points to either redeem discounts or redeem different products, and this is one of the things you can get there. And that's actually the first thing I want to talk about in this review, is the quote-unquote price of this. Because this is one of the most absurd releases of a product I have ever seen. I think this set's super cute, and we'll get into that in a moment. I really love the build, and I think this is an awesome collectible. But if you want to get this for yourself, you have to spend 2,700 LEGO Insiders points. Which, if you don't already have any points and you want to earn them to get this set, you have to spend over $400 in LEGO stores or on LEGO.com to get those points. But then that's not even everything, because once you get those points, you don't just get it for free. No, then you have to place another separate order to actually get this set, and you can't just order this set, you have to buy something with that order. So yes, you could buy just like a $5 collectible minifigure or something, but then you're paying for shipping. So if you want to get this with your free shipping, that's another $35 on other products you have to get that you can add this onto that order. So they're really asking a lot to get this set, and not to mention you're sacrificing Insider's points worth $20, which you could have redeemed for $20 off an order. And then the very worst part of this is not even the only set in this collection. If you look at the back of the instructions, you can see they're making one of these sets for every single one of the Ninjago City sets, and this is just the first one that was released. We also have the docks and the gardens and the markets coming at some point. Now the docks are available right now, and I'll probably have a review of them within the next month or so, and likely those are a little bit cheaper, only 2,300 points, which is about $350 you have to spend to earn those points. But even if we assume that's how much the next two are going to cost as well, even though I assume they'll probably be a little more expensive, that's about $1,500 you have to spend to get enough points to get all of these. So because of that, I will say I don't recommend you guys get this set. I really like the set, and I'll go through it, like, ignoring the price and everything in a moment, but straight up, if I didn't have this channel and I wasn't making this review for you guys, I would have skipped out on this set. Because even though I love it and it's a really cute collectible, LEGO's asking way too much to actually get this. I really wish it was just a regular gift with purchase, or just sold on its own. If you want to part it out, I think on Bricklink it's like $35 to $40, which is significantly cheaper. So that's an option if you don't want to spend all that money at a LEGO store, but if you already have points and you really want this, technically I guess $20 of Insider's points is cheaper. So yeah, this is the most absurd product release I've ever seen. Very disappointed by that aspect. But now with all that out of the way, let's get into the actual review and comparison of this set to the full-size set. First off, the box is very cute. It's a remake of the box from the original set. Of course, the Ninjago movie branding is gone and now it just says LEGO Ninjago. Though interestingly, it is just LEGO Ninjago, not Ninjago Dragons Rising. So this is one of few sets available right now with that branding. And in the back of the box, you can see the full-size original set next to the new version. Very cool design. I actually really like this box. I don't normally keep my boxes, but this is one that I might. It would be neat to have like all four lined up once all four have released. But now let's move on to the actual build. Despite being so small, there is a lot of little techniques in here that I really like, as well as a few little secrets to discover. So let's start with this pathway down at the bottom. This little clip to represent the flag hanging off is super cute, and I really like the use of this brick with a technicolor in the middle to be like a window, which you'll see when I pull the full-size set over in a moment. That's also done on this side right here, and in the original set, this area right here is actually open, but to keep the set structurally sound, they use a trans clear piece instead. And I think that represents that pretty well. There's a little alley right here that moves into the back. And here's a look at that same section of the full-size build. So you can see this open part's what they use the trans clear piece for, there's that window that I mentioned, and of course the alleyway in the center that leads to the back. This little phone right here too is represented in just a single tile on the other build. Very cute translation. Then we've got this big pillar in the center, and coming to the other side again there's that window that I mentioned, as well as this bridge, which is one of my favorite parts of the original set. I will say this is probably my own critique of this entire build. I wish these leaf pieces extended up the bridge a little bit more. Because if we compare that to the original set, you can see the leaves aren't below the bridge, they're sort of coming off the bridge. And I don't think the micro version captures that perfectly. Now, that being said, this is in a very small scale. I don't know if it would have been possible to do that and keep this at the scale that it is. So I understand why they made the decision they did, but I don't know, most of this build feels like it's downscaled super well. This part, though, does feel a little bit clunky to me. And of course, there's another trans green flag piece hanging down right here, which matches this larger one in the official set. Moving up to the next level, I really love how they did the signs on the outside right here. They use like these neck bracket pieces, which are very interesting because you don't see them in like actual builds too often. They mostly are just used on minifigures, but the choice to use them is absolutely perfect here because it leaves room for figures to walk here. Obviously in micro scale, no figures are walking here. I suppose you could use the Micro Ninjago from the Ninjago City markets if you wanted to. Those would actually be pretty cool to display here. But no, like it still leaves that room for the walkway, but allows you to put whatever tile you want right here without making the entire build too thick. That's very creative parts usage, and it's a great translation of the larger version of this build. build. There's a blue clip piece to represent the squid on the original build, and there's another one of these flags hanging down right here. And of course, that trans-orange piece is supposed to be the Shadow of Ronin poster from the original set. Coming back to the original set, here's the full-size version of the railings. They did reduce down the number of railings, there's only 2 on each side instead of 3, but I think that's perfectly fine. Again, everything's downscaled. You do have to lose quite a bit of detail. I will say it would have been nice if they found some way to include these lanterns. I'm not sure how you would do it in such a small scale, but I feel like the lanterns are such an iconic part of the Ninjago City imagery, so the fact that they're not present in the micro version at all is a little bit disappointing. But I mean, I get it. I don't even know what piece they would use here. The crab shack in the center I think is perfect. We have this angled piece right here to represent the crab, which in a very abstract way I think it does. Trans-orange pieces around the sides, and these like grill pieces are meant to represent the windows. Colors aren't 1-to-1 with the official version, like there's not as much red on the windows in the full-size version, but the grill pieces do a good job to like represent the edges. And when you are using so few parts, you want to keep every building like distinct, like as to what it's supposed to be. So using all that red helps communicate that yes, this is all the crab shack. Something interesting too, a little secret in this set, if you take it apart and look inside the crab shack, there's no like official way for this to come apart. It doesn't pop off like the official set. Would have been cool, but again, I get it. It's a very small scale. But anyway, you can see if I take it apart in there's actually a little tiny printed sushi piece in there. Which that's not like a hard to find part or anything, but it's a very cute way to communicate like what's actually in the restaurant. And finally, we have more railings in the same style on the other side, as well as my absolute favorite part of this set. So in the center right here, we have the vending machine. And that was a very fun play feature in the actual set. You could store actual money behind it, so you could remove the vending machine to access that. And they did actually capture this in the micro scale. Might be a little bit hard to get your fingers in there, but this does pop off super easily if you do. So then that becomes completely open, and the vending machine itself can be removed. There's a green tile in the back, I assume, to represent the money that's inside the machine. I think it's super cute they kept that functionality there. For reference, here's the vending machine in the original set. I pop that off, and that's all money hidden back there. And then last on this level, we have the comic book store. I don't have too much to point out here in terms of the micro build. I think it looks good. I like the grill piece to represent the lettering, and there is a trans clear brick to represent the door, but nothing that stands out to me too much. Moving up though, we get to Lloyd's apartment, and I think the tree coming out is super cute. I absolutely adore how they downscaled that. And of course, for comparison, here's the tree and that building in the original set. I think pretty good translation overall. There's like that little gap above the vending machine, and then you come to the department store, and this is just a bunch of trans clear pieces to represent those giant windows that it has. But you can see there's 2 orange studs in there, one on each side. And those are meant to represent the orange straw hats that are being sold in here. There's one on this mannequin and then a few more inside. While we're here, here's the squid that I mentioned on the original set. The clip piece is such a cute little representation of that. And then finally we're at the roof, which is a little seating area for a restaurant. This ball piece to represent the pufferfish on the side. This trans-orange piece represents the crank to actually turn the table. And coming back to the full-size set, there's that pufferfish, as well as the knob with the table. Apologies for the dust, by the way. I know this thing's a mess. I should have taken care of that before this video, but oh well. I'll do a better job with the docks when I review that one. And then the last part of the building is this giant structure at the top. And my favorite detail is in the original set, this pops off super easily. In fact, it falls off all the time. It is meant to come off like that's intentional, but I do think it's a little too easy to pop off in the original set. And that's still here in the tiny version. The actual design of this, though, is absolutely perfect. I love the white circle in the middle with the red edges, and these spikes coming out the side are pretty good, too. I guess one thing I will mention is some of the colors aren't 1-to-1 like these in the original set, or like that bronze color that you just saw. Well, these are, of course, just pearl gold. The trans orange is different, too, because the trans orange that they use in the original set just doesn't exist anymore. LEGO doesn't produce it, so they use their less vibrant trans orange instead. And you can see that on the dial, as well as the poster down here, and the flag at the bottom. And a few of the signs are a little bit off when it comes to colors. White's not used on any of the signs, at least on this side. And this shade of blue is only used in one place on the signs, and that's on the green sign, which of course is already covered here. These are very minor things, though. It's very clear what this set's supposed to be. It doesn't bother me, but this is a review. It's worth pointing out. And that's almost everything to this build. However, we're not done just yet, because of course, we gotta turn it around and take a look at the backside. Right off the bat, something I love back here is the little boat. That's of course one of the side builds in the original set, and I'm really glad that was brought over too, not just the full build. The boat, by the way, is meant to go through this little path at the front underneath the bridge, but unfortunately in the micro version, you could just barely not do that. The boat is the perfect height. It would fit under there if you could get under there, but the issue is these leaf pieces at the front, they just get in the way. The boat's too wide and can't fit through them. And coming through the other side, you could sort of do it. You could force it back there a little bit, and that's how you can see it does fit under the bridge, but yeah, it's not super comfortable. Still, I appreciate that they took the care to make the bridge tall enough to fit the boat, even even if the boat doesn't actually have a clear path. But yeah, here's a look at this entire section right here. Don't have a ton to point out. I do appreciate that they kept this little overhang. That's a small thing, but it's an overhang in the original set, so I appreciate that it's an overhang in the micro version. But here's a full look at this back area for comparison. And then back to the micro, you have the slots for the elevators that run up the side, as well as the platforms to actually get off of them. This little Technic ball is actually quite cute because this is the mechanism to turn the elevator, which in the original set is like not really anything in-universe, right? It's more for play. It allows you to control the elevator, but they still included it in the micro version to make it an accurate representation of that set. And that's quite cute, actually. I really like that. On the back of Lloyd's house, too, you have this white piece to represent an air conditioning unit, and this brick with a technical in it to represent the open area that the tree's growing out of. Here's like the air conditioning unit in the original set, as well as the area that the tree's growing out of. Technical may not have been the best representation of that, but it does show its openness, so I think it's fairly good. And then this is the entire elevator shaft, as well as the elevator mechanism right there, and the platforms to get off. They chose the absolute perfect pieces to represent the elevator. It looks amazing in the micro version, though it doesn't go all the way up, which you can see it does do in the official set. Yeah, you can see it's missing at the top here. And I think that's about everything for the Micro Ninjago City. Honestly, I had a lot more to talk about than I expected to, but overall, I do really love this set. I just wish it was easier to get. If this was a gift with purchase for like purchases of $100 or even $150, I'd be like, absolutely, if you have LEGO sets you want to buy, go out and get them. But to get this thing, if you don't already have VIP points that you're sitting on, LEGO is expecting you to spend $420 to get the points, give up $20 worth of points that could have been used on discounts, and then spend another minimum of $10 to get this shipped to you. Because again, if you buy the cheapest thing on their website, a collectible minifigure, you pay $5 for that, plus $5 for shipping, and then you can finally get this thing. So yeah, really cool set. Not worth all that trouble. Now, if this had some sort of exclusive minifigure or something, I would be a little more forgiving about the really complicated way to get this, but this set doesn't need an exclusive minifigure. It's a perfectly fine, very cute little set as it is. They just made it way too difficult to get. Now, I do get the feeling this is not selling very well, because again, I'm Ninjago superfan. I love Ninjago, but I would not have gotten this set if I didn't have a YouTube channel to review it on. But yeah, I think this was originally only supposed to be available for a month, but a month has passed and it's still on LEGO's website, so there's still time to get it if you want. But hopefully, maybe in the future, they'll introduce other ways to get it, like maybe around the holidays there'll be a gift with purchase or something, I don't know. But at this current point, yeah, I recommend you guys do not pick up this set. If anything, part it out on Bricklink, that's probably your best option, or if you already have VIP points, and you don't mind spending them and you really want this, that's okay too. But yeah, as much as I like the set, LEGO just made it way too difficult to get, and there just isn't enough here to justify all that trouble. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below, and let me know, did you get this? Will you be getting this? And are you planning on getting any of the others? Because there is supposed to be 3 more. One's already out, but then 2 more are coming later this year, I think. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!